Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike. Today I felt like teaching you a trick I made up called wrist action. A wrist action looks like this. How to do wrist action. Starts out really basic. Starts out with a trapeze, but you're going to put your thumb in the loop of the trapeze just to make it a little bit wider. And then you're going to swing this loop up and over the wrist of your throw hand. As you can see, it's pretty interesting looking once you do that. Once you flip it up and over your wrist, you're going to take the index finger of your free hand and you're going to take the string that's coming out of the middle. So this one right here that's wrapped, it's the one that's tied to the bearing. You're going to take that index finger and you're going to touch it to the string that's going around the bearing. So my yo-yo has started to tilt, so I'm going to kill it. That's all I've done. All I've done is taken the index finger and pulled the string that was wrapped around the bearing in the middle over to the side. Trapeze, over the wrist, grabbed that string. Now it starts to get a little bit more complex. I'm going to use my index finger of my free hand to lift the yo-yo up and over all of my fingers of my throw hand. From there I'm going to curl the index finger around the string that I grabbed, and I'm going to bring my throw hand index finger sort of forward and down to kick that loop of string off of the yo-yo. Trapeze, over the wrist, touch that string, flip it over my hand, pull my hand forward so that that loop falls off the yo-yo. So once we've done that, flipped it over, kicked that off, we're going to basically take our throw hand and sort of scoop it down because we want this slack loop that we've got hanging from it to flip up over our hand. Flip that up over your hand and you want that whole loop to swing around the yo-yo. So as you can see, it once I flipped it up and over, it just passed in front of and behind of the yo-yo. Kind of like a weird slack rock the baby. Once you've gotten your weird slack rock the baby thing going on, you're going to take the yo-yo that you've pinched up here. I'm going to take my throw hand out of this area towards my body. I'm going to take my free hand and I'm going to bring it up into that loop. I'm going to bring the yo-yo with it. I'm going to let it touch that string that's up there. So I'll do this a couple of times just so you can actually see what's going on. So flip that over, pull my throw hand back, basically just going from it being forward to it being parallel with my body. And then I'm going to take the string that's wrapped around the index finger of my free hand and I'm going to put my hand into that loop. So like this. I'm going to pull the yo-yo up into the string that is coming down the other side of my index finger. I'm going to tap that string with the yo-yo, then I'm going to flip the yo-yo up and over my index finger onto the string. Flips up and over and lands in a weird demented trapeze. Once I've got my weird demented trapeze thing and I've got this loop around the wrist of my free hand, I'm going to sort of turn my hand down and I've got my index finger here curled around the string at all times so I don't accidentally drop it. But I'm going to turn my hand down so that the loop that's wrapped around now the knuckles of my free hand falls down around the yo-yo. Started here like this, turn my hand down, and that loop falls down around the yo-yo. So once that's fallen down around the yo-yo, I'm going to take the hand, my throw hand, I'm going to bring it behind the yo-yo and over here in front of the yo-yo. And as I get over here to the front, I'm going to flick that loop out. And I want the loop, basically the string that's coming from my middle finger right here, I want that to go all the way around into the gap of the yo-yo over here. As soon as the gap of the yo-yo and that string collide with each other, I'm going to flip the yo-yo up and over all of this, basically up and over my throw hand, so it's on the free hand side like this, and it'll leave me in a formation that looks like this. From there, if I just dismount, I'd be out of this whole thing and I'd be done. But I like to complicate things. So there's a very tricky bind at the end. From here, I'm going to pop the yo-yo up and off of this, and I want it to come up and towards my throw hand. And as long as it's up and towards my throw hand, I still have all of this loop over here. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to bring it into the gap of the yo-yo. So this is up and over here, bring that into the gap of the yo-yo, which I can then bind. So up and over the wrist, finger goes in here, that goes over, kick that loop over, Hand goes up through the hole, tap the string, mount it, drop it off of my wrist, flick this around so it's in the gap, swing that over, should stay on the string, pop this up into the air, and while it's up in the air, I'm going to swing that loop into the gap, and then I'm going to swing both of these. Basically, I'll leave my free hand stationary, swing the yo-yo up and over my throw hand, and then as it comes over my throw hand and starts to come down, I'm going to let go of the loop on my index finger of my free hand. That loop's going to kick around the yo-yo, wrap around it a couple times, bind, and then all I have to do is catch it. It can be fancy. So that is wrist action. It's one of the more complex tricks I have made so far, and I plan to make tons more. So if you want to see more tricks like this, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That's the best way to stay on top of it. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed wrist action. I enjoyed creating it and teaching it. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye.